welcome back to the Comic Book ASM Artist. Today we're going to be doing another comic haul video, and towards the end I will be having more announcements and updates regarding the channel. So let's get started. The first couple come to me already bagged and boarded. This is from the shop by my house. This is the variant for the Rocco's Modern Life #2. This is the painted heifer variant. And then we have another Serapis book from them. They also hooked me up with a couple promotional posters, but they're too large to showcase here. One of them is the Nick Bradshaw Venomized cover and a giant poster, and then the other one is the Lady Thor. I'm assuming it's tied to her death issue, even though I know the cover for that looks different. But this one just shows her in flames and a profile shot. I think the one that I've seen actually shows Thor on the cover as well as her, but this one seemed like it was awfully close to that. Okay, so we're gonna start it off with Rocco's Modern Life #4. And it just got, more of the same that it's had. It's got the same artist for all this that it's had on the series so far. But I'm guessing it's gonna just end at 5 because I haven't seen any previews for anything after issue 5. And that's been a couple months now, but I'm not for sure on it. Oh, and then on the back I'm sure that there is another side story. Yeah. I haven't read any of this yet, but I know that's been the formula here recently. And on this video, I'm trying to incorporate both the sounds like I had previously when I was doing these out of our shed, but the camera angle is harder for me to see on my end here. So that's what I am dealing with right now. But I'm trying to get it to where you guys can hear the sounds of the books and the bags plus me talking. So if you're having difficulty, just turn your volume up a little bit. Maybe about the midway where the max is, like the middle of the orange is what I recommend for like Samsung devices. I'm not sure about Apple products, but is Action Comics number 999. We're one away from that big 1,000. Yeah, feel free to let me know down below, guys, what books you're reading, what stuff you're excited about, and of course, anything you want to see on this channel, let me know. Pertaining to readings or whatever. I'm thinking I'm going to try to find some old key issue, at least in collections and trade paperbacks for, first appearances of certain characters, so, because I know a lot of people are interested in those type of stories, so I'm trying to do the more readings for you all. But yeah, the one I just posted the 3 parts of, I actually read that all in one sitting, so that was like almost like 2.5 hours for me. And I wasn't expecting it to go over huge, but I definitely want to create variety. But I want input from you all because I want you to actually watch the things I'm reading and be excited about them, I'm excited reading whatever to you guys, but if you guys want to see something, just let me know, and I will do my best to acquire it and read it for you all. Dedicate that episode to you as well. I know I did it with, I believe it was the Obsessed Gardener who wanted some I Hate Fairyland, and I did the free comic book day special for him, so. But I throw it right there in the title, and then I mention you in the video too, so if that's something you're interested in, don't hesitate to do it, because I'll definitely acknowledge you and get you in there, so. Next is Detective Comics number 976. I really like this cover. I almost didn't get it. I typically try to stay in the vein of collecting, the full set of whatever variant artist is on a title. But I just liked this cover better. I really liked his face here. It has a very almost 1989 Batman feel to it, with the shape of the cowl here and the lips and stuff, so I'm not sure if that's what he was going for, but that's what it reminds me of, so I think it's pretty cool. And as I said before, this current story arc, James Tynion is wrapping his run on Detective Comics. So with that, everything he's been working on developing is coming to a head in this last arc. So I've really enjoyed it. The biggest thing for me was seeing Clayface in the spotlight. So I'm glad that he was able to do so many interesting things. And he's still got this last arc left. I think it's going to be maybe 4 parts to Batman Eternal, but I'm not sure. but it's really hard for me to do these without spoiling plot points for you all. So if you haven't noticed me going a little quiet recently, that's why. So, but I know you all love when I do the comic hauls. These videos aren't going away. Neither are the previews guide series. And I kind of want to wait towards the end to discuss other developments on the channel here, so because some of you are literally just here for the comic haul, so I don't want to bore you with the other things if you're not here for that. I would make a second update video, but these are my most viewed, so just gonna sandwich it in here. Next we have Damage number 3. I'm absolutely loving the artwork in this series. Donius Daniel isn't an artist whose work I typically buy, just because he doesn't draw in the books I collect, but I think he's a terrific artist. And he's come a long way too. I think whoever's inking as well as coloring is really complimenting him as well. It's a really good team effort. I think it's incredible. Because I know there's been times where his work's been inked over heavily or the colors just didn't gel quite right, but I think the product his team is making right now is really some of his best stuff I've seen. I'm on day 60 of the 100 Days of Comic Challenge. I have finished coloring all of my images in the forefront of my pages, so now I'm working on doing the backgrounds, and then I will be adding text, and then hopefully putting that book out. So hopefully in another month or so, I'll have my own self-published comic to show you all, and hopefully some of you will be interested in purchasing it. But we'll see what happens when it happens. I'm just glad I finally got motivated enough to do it. Next is the Turtles Universe number 20. Starting right with the action, that's always a good sign. Yeah, I'm actually behind on all of my personal readings and things like that too. I have maybe 30 books from before that I haven't read yet. And then these 30 13. The main thing, as silly as it sounds, on my other books they all have that self-adhesive bag on them, the peel and stick, but it makes a horrible noise when you try to peel it open, and I normally read my books at night when my wife is sleeping, so I don't want to wake her with a horrible peeling noise in the middle of the night, so that's what's kept me away from my books. I'm trying to be considerate, so. Next is Sideways number 2. Another beautifully illustrated book. It looks like we've got inserted real buildings in here, so it's interesting. I personally cannot draw architecture to save my life, so I get the need to do that. But I think this guy's definitely capable of drawing those buildings. I don't know, he may have. It's hard to say whether these are just traced over photos or not. They look a little too perfect, you know. But I think the guy who's doing this book possesses the ability, so. He seems to be really serious about his deadlines, so I understand if he took a shortcut on some buildings here. I still haven't watched the Justice League movie. I've had it digitally for over a month now, but I haven't watched it yet. My oldest son got grounded, so he really wanted to watch this movie as well as the new Thor with me. And he got ungrounded last Sunday, and we watched the new Thor, and we enjoyed that. But we'll probably watch Justice League together this weekend. Next we have Batman number 43. I'm just wondering if Miguel will be illustrating the wedding issue or not. I know online I've seen images of Catwoman in her wedding dress, but it's by the other alternative artist who's been trading with him, which I don't particularly care for, so I'm hoping that they don't get it and he does, because I like his work a lot. It's always nice when you find a new artist whose work you want to follow. Next we have Turtles Meet Batman number 5 of 6. And I'd like to do some front-facing stuff for the channel too, but apparently today I was learning that the selfie mode on the camera does not focus on anything but you, and even when I block my face out, it would still, the images of the interiors of the comic was blurry. So rather than have you not be able to see the insides of the book clearly, I have opted to continue to at least do the comic hauls in this manner, where it's over the top of the book here. But I do want to try to do like quote-unquote hangout videos where it's like you're sitting next to me reading while I'm reading, and I'm trading books with you and stuff like that. It's because part of ASMR is a companion and attention aspect, and I'd like to facilitate for that for those of you who need it. Because me personally, I like when I can see the ASMR artists talking to me on the videos. So, but for the sake of this, I didn't want to compromise giving you the interior previews over you seeing my face, so I might do some recommend videos where I show the covers of the books. But even if I show you the insides, it'll be fuzzy, but just that's the fair warning of it. Next we have Batwoman number 13. I really like this picture here. I don't know, I think there's something cool about being able to draw architecture. I think I admire when people can do it and make it believable, you know. Well, for me, that is literally my struggle. I can draw characters and things like that, albeit I'm still figuring out, you know, putting them in non-static poses, but I can at least draw an interesting looking hero or, you know, whatever. But it's so hard for me to draw backgrounds and things like that, so as I am finding out, trying to make my own book, you know. But I'm not worried about that. I'd rather create a book than not create a book because I couldn't, you know, come to terms with my skill level currently. But I'll keep making books and grow as an artist, and that'll just be what it'll be, you know. Next we have Nightwing number 41. Oh, I like this art a lot. very vibrant and I like it. Next we have Super Sons number 14. I've gotten most of the covers he's done. I'm tempted to track down the couple I'm missing. Unfortunately, one of those is the number 1. So I know now that people definitely try to charge too much for that. But what can you do, right? But apparently Super Sons will be ending in a couple of months, so at least through this iteration, DC is launching a youth imprint, and they will be one of the feature titles of that imprint, which is kind of good because this wasn't canceled because of low sales. It has gotten plenty of readership. It more or less just got shuffled and rebranded. So don't worry about it being, oh, it didn't perform well. That wasn't the issue. They want to more or less make it the focal point for the youth line they're doing. And then I just read apparently Frank Miller is going to do a Gary Kelly book for the youth line, and I thought that was very interesting. Because, you know, he's a very gritty guy who doesn't pull his punches, you know, so I wonder what a youth book written by him would look like. Granted, I don't know if I got all the details on it either, but to my understanding, that's what I read, that he was making this book about Gary Kelly. It could just be, oh, he's overseeing it and there's, you know, other people attached to it. Kind of like how the last Dark Knight arc ran, where it was really, I want to say, Brian Azzarello and Cooper who did the lifting on that one, and he kind of oversaw it. I could be wrong on that creative team, but yeah, he was more or less like a consultant on the project. Next we have Superman number 43 with Boy Zorro here. And the fun thing with that, I actually follow Gleason on Facebook, as well as Tomasi, and the whole Boy Zorro thing actually came up through someone's Facebook comment, and they liked that name, so they kept it. next is Mr. Miracle number 12. Beautiful cover here. When I saw Gerard's at the Emerald City, he actually had a giant 11 by 17 of this image here. Really nice. I'm just wondering if they will have another series they work on after this one, since it's only to 12, so I hope they do. It's one of those books that is not like anything else I read, really, so it's one I picked up based upon reviews, so that's it for my purchased books. I did get this nice free World of Krypton promo for the sci-fi show coming out. It's got this nice John Byrne classic story in here. It looks like Mignola worked on it too. It's so fun to see early Mignola. Because a lot of his stylistic things definitely came later. You know, he had to establish himself as a reliable artist at first, you know. And then he just grew and had his own stylized approach. And then the back shows the people from the new show here. They have different houses, different lineages, you know. So I think the coolest thing that I've seen so far is how Brainiac is gonna look on this show. I've always liked Brainiac, so next, my shop hooked me up with a couple free old school magazines from the 90s, and I'll be doing an in-depth flip through and read. I don't know how much reading, but I'll definitely be, you know, exploring these with you on camera here. So I got a nice Wizard issue here. This is issue number, I could have sworn I saw it, 93 maybe. I'm glad the Avengers animated didn't end up looking like that. But it's fun to have these little time capsules, you know. Because Wizard magazine was definitely a figurehead in the old days of the comic nerds, you know. Oh, I always loved the back ends, like the stickers and the tiny cards and the posters. And then this I had seen, but I had never really heard of it per se, or at least didn't put it in my memory bank, but it looks like the same type of thing as Wizard, but maybe a little classier, I'm not sure. I know Wizard kind of had like innuendos and poop jokes and sex jokes like interspersed within serious editorial pieces, so, but I haven't read this yet, but Same type of thing. It's a time capsule to say the least. So I love how it has these old video game ads in it. And I definitely want to acquire the original Marvel Masterpiece cards for you all and do an unboxing of them. Alright, next I got some pops. I understand they might not be for everyone, but I'm just, showcasing what I acquired. So I got a Mr. Bean pop. I've always loved the show Mr. Bean, even though it only had 13 episodes and stuff. But I love how even on the store you can't really see it through the packaging. But if you look on right here, you can see I did pull him out earlier and I looked, and he has the forehead wrinkles and the under eye bags on the toy too, so really appreciated those details. But I don't buy a ton of pops. I think it's just dangerous if I did, especially all the superhero ones and stuff. So I've picked up some of the random ones like this because there's not a ton of them to collect. Having said that, though, I did pick up the remaining Jurassic Park Funkos I needed. You saw me get Grant on the first, well, not the first, but the previous comic haul, so. But basically the shop held the others for me if I was gonna pick them up today, so I committed to that, so I did, even though, I ended up plunking down more than I typically would during a recent comic book run, but it's okay. I don't do this all the time, so. So here's Dennis Nedry, and the one thing, the pops, I don't think they've really figured out how to do the heavier set characters. Even the Tommy Boy one doesn't really look like Chris Farley. I think they've captured, everything else on here looks really accurate, but they could have just made, the double chin a little bigger or something. And I'm not saying that for comedic purposes or anything, but just to visually be able to recognize who the pop is, because, they're already simplified as it is. Next is the Ian Malcolm Pop Fig. I am definitely trying to acquire the damaged, injured Dr. Ian Malcolm 2. The main reason being it is a different sculpt. The shirt being open and laying down and all that. I know some people are buying it for the comedic effect of it, or just to, resell it or whatever. But I honestly want it because it is, a whole different pop thing. It's not just a repaint or anything like that. I didn't like how the chase for the Dilophosaur, they just literally pulled off his frills, so I think that's the type of thing they need to stay away from and more, move to unique sculpting on the pops. Next is John Hammond. And I would say this one's probably the one that excited me the least. But, you know, it definitely has features on it that are very Hammond-like. I think the face is kind of generic, but, you know, it gets the point across. Next are the dinos. I like how the T-Rex was just a tad too long that they had to put him in a different shaped box. But I don't want to unbox all these right now. I don't want all that too much unpackaging overload noise for you all. One is okay, but not every single one of them. Then I got the Velociraptor here. But I love how all the dinosaurs have these unique sculpts, you know. And then finally, the Dilophosaurus. And I love that frill on him, like it looks so cool. More people like the T-Rex and the Raptor, but this pop is very cool. And even, I remember when I used to have the action figure toy of it that squirted water. I always loved this dinosaur, so it's cool to have a pop of it. Alright, next I want to segue into kind of what I want to do coming up on the channel. I did a library run, and you know, I try to stay current on my books, so it's harder for me to find older books to acquire that I used to own that I'm trying to recollect. But I ran across a few that I really love, that are, I guess, some of my recommended or required or favorite books. So I was able to check them out, and I'm going to be doing readings of them for you in the next month or so. And I still have a couple others queued up from my previous library run. I still have Louis Undercover coming, as well as The Nightmare Before Christmas. And those ones are not huge multi-part series like the Boxers was. But 2 out of 3 of these will probably be multi-part. But I got Kingdom Come. This is a must experience. Like, if you read comics, you have to read this, you know. Or even if you don't like comics, this is a story that needs to be shared. It is visually beautiful, and the story is so unique and telling, you know. When I got the original graphic novel for it, I had stayed up till like 3 or 4 a.m. I just read it all in one sitting, and I loved it. Next is Dark Knight, a true Batman story. This is about Paul Dini. He was the writer of the animated series, and basically he got mugged during the course of while he was working on Batman Animated, and so he was dealing with depression and physically trying to heal and yet still produce work for that show. So this is about his physical and emotional journey through that, so definitely a unique story. I wouldn't say it's an all ages book, but it is a story that does not need to be ignored. If nothing, it needs more attention on it. It's incredible. And then finally we have this beauty here, The New Frontier, and this is the whole thing collected into one volume. So, if you haven't seen this or heard of it, it is about the Justice League in the very beginning. I'm trying to remember if it's World War I or II, but even over in here looks, like they have the sunny disposition. They deal with some very serious things, so it's cool to have that dichotomy. I do want to show the interior a little bit of these others too, just so you can kind of see what to look forward to. And this one here, this is drawn by the guy who does the 100 Bullets series. And his style changes all throughout the book here. It's Eduardo Rizzo. And then, of course, Alex Ross on Kingdom Come here. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. I look forward to seeing the next artist come up on the scene and just, surprise us out of left field like Alex Ross did in the 90s with Marvels and Kingdom Come. And even when I show these to my kid, he's like, wow, these are incredible. Like, they're just so impressive and striking, and they can't be ignored. Finally, I know some of you saw my super makeshift test video for the Death and Return of Superman video game. Just wanted to do some sound checking on it to see how the video game controller buttons would sound. But I am going to be doing, and I would say not super close future, but I am acquiring the capture device to be able to visually display on the screen, not my cell phone taking image from the TV, but having, the gameplay transferred onto my computer where I can edit over it for you all. So you can have a professional experience, but that video is up if you haven't seen it. It features the controller sounds. The picture's not the greatest. After about 2 minutes or so, it does correct itself, but yeah, the focal point, like I said, is really the sounds of the controllers more than the visuals. But I do want to get into doing focusing on retro superhero games and playing those for you. And so this past week I acquired a Game Genie for my I guess it's the At Games version of a Genesis, but it did not read my cartridges, so then I acquired official Sega for pretty cheap. But I got that so I could play this game here, well, with the Game Genie on, because I love old games, but I suck at old games. So, but this was one of my favorites here. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. It has the Brood in it. It has the Phalanx Covenants in it. It's weird and bizarre. And when I was a little kid, I had no clue about any of those things. I just knew like the standard Brotherhood of Mutants and stuff like that from what was on the cartoon. And I know in the later seasons they had like maybe an episode or two about the Phalanx and the Brood, but this game came out prior to that. So I remember, seeing those images and those characters and just being legitimately disturbed would be a word I guess I would use. Because I was like maybe, let's see when this come up. This says 97 here. I don't remember it being that late though. But I guess it was later. It seemed like I was younger though. But I guess it was, I don't know, probably 12 maybe. So maybe I wasn't, couldn't sleep at night disturbed. But there was something striking about this game. and the visual elements in it. So, but then I also acquired Mortal Kombat, and I found out my controllers didn't work because I was just trying to do Scorpion's Backpack A, get over here, and it wasn't working. So, figured that out. But other games that I have presently are the original X-Men. And then Death of Return of Superman, which you saw. Batman Forever. And Batman Returns. And I do want to acquire more superhero games as well. And I will be trying to acquire some of the games on systems too that I have, like the GameCube and the Wii, and maybe even venture off to do some Nintendo and stuff, but my main focus is gonna be the systems I have, which is the GameCube, the Genesis, the Wii. I also have a PS4 and a PS3. But I really want to highlight those old games that a lot of you all may not have experienced. So, look forward to that. That'll probably be a regular in the channel, maybe a month or so from now. I have to save up for the capture device. I am presently still saving up for the shipping for the winner of the giveaway contest. I want to say it was Andrew Kai, if I remember. He lives overseas, so to get him out his 100 comics is going to be about $100 to ship. So I am presently saving that up and trying to get out that to him as well. So, but yeah, thank you all for sticking around. I hope you enjoy the content that's to come. Let me know if you have any suggestions, and make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's grow this channel. Let's make it bigger and better. And the bigger it gets, the more I'm able to do. Once we get monetized and all that, I'll be able to do more with that. Acquire more things for a unique, geeky, and relaxing experience for you all. Alright, well that's gonna do it for tonight. You have a good day or a good night. Thanks so much. Bye.